My journey, like most people, started long before I'd ever considered the dental field as a profession, and certainly long before I'd heard of Scheduling Institute. I've been a hygienist for about 8 years now, and 3 of those have been spent here at Consultants in Dental Aesthetics. I came to CDA full-time because I admired their patient-centric office culture and their ability to provide 5-star service like no other office. It also didn't help that at the time my current place of employment was very unorganized, only driven by insurance, and the team had no goals or aspirations to be any better. Each day, we'd get to play a game of light roulette where we would see if the doctor had paid his bill or not. It was a very uncomforting feeling and definitely not the way that I'd direct my personal life. So, in January 2013, I decided to call CDA home full-time. We had our first Clarity Retreat May 2013, where 5 of our team members, myself included, first heard of Scheduling Institute, Jay Geyer, Colby's, Rocks, 5X, and of course, this is where we rolled out our big master plan. We had no idea what, how, when, where, or why we were going to make all this happen, but we knew we were all up for the challenges ahead. In January 2013, our hygiene team consisted of 2 full-time hygienists and 1 part-time hygienist. I will admit, when I first came to CDA, the daily hygiene regimen was very typical and boring. We came to work Monday through Friday. We worked 8 to 5. We got an hour for lunch. So with such a flat line in our daily routine and services, you can imagine that our production numbers reflected that, with our hygiene team producing less than $700,000 the whole year for 2012 and only performing 600 adjunctive services. Most of our production came from pro fees. Immediately starting with SI, we knew we needed to vamp up our hygiene in quick, especially since a big majority of our office's production, like most, come from the hygiene team. Immediately, our first plan of action was to create systems and protocols for the hygiene team. Since there hadn't been any systems established before, each hygienist had their own way of treating the patient's oral health. We quickly saw that each patient was definitely getting a different experience depending on which hygienist they saw. As well, patients also started to pick up on this, only requesting certain hygienists. So we sat down as a team and talked through each appointment that we might have on our schedule any given day. Our objective was to make our hygiene a more calibrated unit. Since we created these systems and protocols, our production for 2014, with 4 full-time hygienists and 1 part-time hygienist, was over $900,000, and we performed over 2,000 adjunctive services. Before Scheduling Institute, I didn't realize just how strong of an impact setting, announcing, and achieving goals really were to your overall success. I was always a person who was scared to set huge goals because of the possibility of failing. Being with SI has taught me that if you don't have something to strive for, you'll never make progress towards anything. Before, we as a hygiene team would have an annual goal for production to achieve, but we didn't have a plan of action to make it happen, nor did we do anything in order to track our progress through the year. If we didn't hit the goal come December 31st, it wasn't a big deal. The next year, we'd start off really strong and positive in January, but with time, that positivity and motivation would fizzle out. At CDA, we now have fact sheets and all breakdowns of the office, front desk, hygiene, hygiene assistant, and clinical team. These fact sheets allow you to see your progress on a daily basis in order to see where you stand when working towards your goal. Our hygiene fact sheets allow us to track everything from open time to the number of adjunctive services broken down individually that were performed on a daily basis. Also at the top of our fact sheets, we have our monthly goal incentives for level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, and level 5 goal. That way, throughout the month, you see where you're tracking towards your incentives. We also submit to our doctor within the first 5 days of the month what our level 1 incentive goal is. So not only do we know what it is, but we're also announcing it to our doctor. That way, in the end, he can see how close we came to achieving that goal or how far over we went. Scheduling Institute has not only made me a more productive hygienist, but SI has also helped me in my personal life as well. I was given some very poor financial advice when I was younger that had me convinced that I didn't need to be in any hurry to pay my student loan off. It didn't take long after joining SI that I quickly understood why Jay pushes for financial freedom and getting debt-free. Just after 1 visit to the U, I had a motivation lit inside me to get the heavy burden off of my shoulders. So I set a goal March 2014 that I would have my student loan completely paid off by the end of 2014. I had about $20,000 I still owed and sat down and figured out what I needed to pay monthly to have it completely paid off. Of course, life happens, and I didn't reach that goal. I fell short about $3,000, but I looked back at just how much progress I had made in just 9 months. That's $17,000 paid off on my student loan. I then turned around and quickly set a goal for 2015 to have my student loan paid off. So I can confidently sit here and say I will have my student loan completely paid off by March 31st, 2015 in order to being one step closer debt-free at the age of 28. I understand that to achieve goals, whether it be professional or personal, they have to be SMART goals. And if you don't reach them, it's okay, because you aren't a failure. You made more progress striving to reach one goal versus not having a goal at all to strive for. Every year in January, I sit down and write personal, professional, financial, spiritual goals for myself. I then announce them to my soon-to-be husband and announce them to my coworkers, my boss. So I get my goals out there. One of my bigger goals for this year is getting debt-free. My fiance and I will be getting married in November, and we both want to enter into this partnership completely debt-free and not bring in a lot of extra baggage that weighs us down and keeps us from doing things that we enjoy doing. Traveling is one of the biggest things that we enjoy doing. We work hard in order to play even harder. We've been very fortunate and blessed over the last 2 years to have visited some amazing places like Germany, Steamboat, Colorado, Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. And there's so many more places on our list that we want to get out and we want to be able to see. But the biggest thing that allows us to do that is having our finances in order and in check. So to sum things up, SHI has gotten my hygiene team to be a more calibrated unit by using systems and protocols, tracking everything from our open time to our adjunctive services that we offer, and most importantly, setting SMART goals and then getting to celebrate them when we hit them. So thank you, Jay Geyer and the whole Scheduling Institute team. I'd also like to send out a personal thank you to Dr. and Marianne Landry. You two believed in me enough to invest so much time, energy, money, everything in me when most people wouldn't. Thank you. And I leave you with this. With growing a practice in any business for that matter, you are going to have frustrations. You are going to have intimidation. But the one thing that I always hold deep in the back of my mind with anything, frustration will lead to breakthrough.